Hi, this is Marion Douglas, your life coach and entrepreneur. And I'm going to ask you guys this morning to indulge me for a couple of minutes while I tell you the story of Mom's Fudge. Now, you're going to, if you allow me to tell this story and just bear with me for a couple of minutes, you're going to see the relevance this has to you and to your life and how it can make a difference. But this is a true story. The mom is actually my mom, and the fudge is actually the fudge that she makes. So every holiday, this fudge has become a tradition. Some of you can relate to this. This fudge has become a tradition, and it's made from a recipe that's been handed down for over 150 years. Now, the great tragedy about this fudge is that the only people who have ever tasted it are people in our immediate family. And this fudge recipe, there actually isn't a family recipe. This fudge is a labor of love that I guess, from what I understand, started 6 generations ago. My great-grandmother, my great-great-grandmother handed it down to my great-grandmother, who handed it down to my grandmother, who handed it down to my mom, who handed it down to my sister, who in turn right now is handing it down to one of my daughters. So this is the 6th generation of fudge makers. So this fudge, as I said, has no written recipe. It's a labor of love that they all learn in the kitchen by watching each other do it. So it's one of those things that's a pinch of this and a smidge of that, and you don't actually know what a pinch or a smidge is, but it always comes out perfect. And everybody sits around waiting for the holidays, because every holiday she makes like a ton of this fudge, and it lasts like one day. But nobody outside the immediate family has ever tasted it. Now, most of you guys know that the best food that you guys have ever eaten is not made at a restaurant or a factory. It's made in your kitchen or your mom's kitchen or something like that. And one of the great tragedies for many of us is that nobody's ever tasted it except the people that are closest to us. And part of that is because people don't know how to get their passions out into the world. So this is not about cooking necessarily, and it's not about so much about my mom's fudge. It's about people being passionate about something and not knowing how to share that passion with the world. And so the world is, what word would I use? Denied some great part of you that could make a difference if you only got that part of you out to it. I know many of you, I talk to you all the time. There are many of you who have something like this going on. We got some great recipe that's been handed down for generations and nobody's ever tasted it but your own family. Some of you can sing like nobody has ever heard, and we got all kinds of people making records and making money that can't sing a lick, but nobody's ever heard your song. There are some of you that have inventions, and I've seen them. I've seen them work. But there are so few people that know that the invention exists. And so people are without jobs, and manufacturing is overseas on things that you've created right here in the United States, and nobody knows that you did it, or not nearly enough people. And why is that? Part of that is, the reason for that is that many of the people that I've talked to, many of you out there, do not know how to take your product or your passion or whatever it is that you do best, your fudge, whatever your fudge is. You guys do not know how to take your fudge to market. You guys do not know how to tell the world how good your fudge is. And so one of the promises that I made last year was that I was going to create something that would make it possible for you to be able to do that. And this iDuplicate system is that promise being kept. This is not about being in business with me. I hope you guys do business with me. But this is not about being in business with me. This is about taking that part of you that you are passionate about, that part of you that you are creative about, That part of you that the world needs to know exists. And learning enough about getting that out into the world, that part of you, that passionate part of you, actually gets out there and makes a difference. That's what this is about. I urge every one of you to take a look at what it is that the iDuplicate system is about. Not for me, but because the passion that you have in you is deserving. And there's a world out there that's deserving to have that part of you shared with it. And so, I don't know what that is for you. It could be any number of things. It could be recipes. It could be a song that nobody has heard you sing. It could be a book that nobody has read that you're writing. My dad was a brilliant man. There was no question in my mind about it. And for years and years and years, I would tell him, "Dad, you need to write a book. Dad, you need to write a book. Dad, you need to write a book." He never wrote the book. And then he died. And now I'm writing Dad's book. But I'm also writing my own book so that my children do not have to write my book. So as they grow up and they explore their passions and share their passions with the world, they will write their own book. They're going to write into the world and into history who they were and what they were about and what contribution that they made. And I'm asking you guys to take a look at what it is that you're passionate about and do the same. Take your passion and write it into the world so that everybody knows that you were here. And so my coaching for you today, this is not a long video. My coaching is to press the button, or the iDuplicate button, and just see what it is that we're all about. Because it's not about iDuplicate. It's about whatever you're passionate about and whatever it is that you are contributing to the world that the world doesn't know that you're contributing yet. And have your passion show up. Have your passion show up in the world so that the rest of us can benefit from who you are. Create your fudge and let the world taste it.